This is Tim on the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk entertainment. What a great stream we had yesterday. What a fun stream we had yesterday. I want to thank Dom, of course, for dropping in as always. Had a special guest in the T-Brad, hanging in there for a good hour, almost 90 minutes, and even OGR made an appearance at the end. It was fun. We're going to have another big stream on Sunday. Of course, got a couple more special guests on Sunday as well, so join us. It's going to be 10:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. I want to talk about Carson Wentz. I want to talk about Jon Feliciano, who was released by the Buffalo Bills, interior lineman. I love it now because I haven't checked the Twitter sphere yet because I just assumed it was going to blow up with Giants fans. We need to sign Jon Feliciano. We need to sign him now. He was released, of course, by the Bills. Saved them $3.3 million doing that. He signed a 3-year, $17 million contract back on March 14th of 2001. And he's, like I said, he's a free agent. He could sign with any team now, but the Giants, of course, don't have any cap space right now. Doesn't really sign anyone. He played left guard. He played right guard. He even played center over his 3 seasons with the Bills. And he had 4 seasons with the Razors. But the injury bugaboo kind of limited him in the last 2 seasons to only a total of 15 starts. He missed the first 2 months of 2020, and he tore a pectoral muscle. And then he missed some time last year with a calf injury that sent him over to the injured reserve. And I believe he also had COVID at one point. He was dealing with a bout of COVID. The guy's had 82 career appearances, 39 starts. He lost his job due to injury, basically, and he never won it back last year. But you know, if you get him on a cheap deal, he's a depth piece, and you know he could play both guard positions. He could even play center. I mean, again, if you're gonna bring him in on the cheap, then I don't have a problem with it, and I don't have a problem with the deal whatsoever, because like I said, right now we only have 6 now offensive linemen on the roster. It was 5 until we signed the guy out of Atlanta, who was on the injury reserve all last year. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. It's going to be to see if he's going to, move forward and re-sign. It's good. I like it when some of these guys, I don't like it though, because you're losing your job, but it's nice that some of these guys get released ahead of free agency, so they can kind of get a jump on the free agent market. So that's kind of nice for them. Not that it's nice to be released. I mean, that's not nice at all. But it's a fact of life in pro sports. But it's a good thing for them to get ahead of the curve in reference to free agency. So the only time will tell if Jon Feliciano is going to be a New York Giant and fill one of those spots. He reminds me of a guy we signed a couple of years back. Was only with the team for a year and did not play well. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to talk about it. But, like I said, if we're bringing him in as a depth piece and a spot starter, I got no problem with it. I want to talk about Carson Wentz going to the Commanders. It's an interesting move, because considering that the Colts still owe the Eagles a first-round draft choice. I was shocked that the Colts were able to even move that contract. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, that is a crazy thing that the Commanders took that contract, and B, that the Colts found someone to take that contract or to move on that contract. And Washington will pay the full $28 million due to Wentz in 2022, which includes a $5 million roster bonus. I mean, yikes. That's a lot for a quarterback who has multitudes of injuries. You got Tyler Heineke, who went 7-8 with Washington last year. He had a pretty good season. 3,419 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. As Giant fans, we would applaud that. And he would be the greatest quarterback in New York Giants history these last couple of years if he had that. I mean, he's a guy that if you look at him, what happened to him in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia thing was he was having an MVP season until he got hurt. And then Nick Foles became a legend in Philadelphia. So it's another fresh start. It's another fresh start for Carson Wentz. How does this affect the division, though? How does this affect the Giants? How does this affect Cowboys? And how does this affect the Eagles? I will tell you this: it makes Washington a little bit more interesting. The guy people will say had a bad season, but he still threw for over 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Completed 62% of his passes. Yeah, everyone will point to the last 2 games of the season where he went 16 for 27 for 148 against Las Vegas in that loss. And the people will point to his 17 for 29 and 185 and 1 touchdown and 1 interception in that loss to Jacksonville. But he was also sacked 6 times. I don't totally blame him for that Jacksonville debacle. And they only lost to the Raiders 23-20. I think he is more of the scapegoat for what went wrong last year in Indianapolis. I think that was his biggest issue. But if the guy can stay healthy, which he's proven he can't, I mean, he can ball still. I mean, he's only played a full season in 3 seasons, and that was last year, 19, and his rookie season. I mean, the guy's thrown for 140 touchdowns to 57 interceptions. He was sacked 211 times, completed 62% of his passes for over 20,000 yards. I mean, he's a quarterback that the Commanders probably wish they had last season. Because the whole Fitzpatrick thing, just went totally awry. It just went totally the wrong direction with that injury. So, I mean, it's a guy that he makes the division interesting. He really does, because if he stays healthy and he stays upright and he gets his mind set, he can ball still. I remember the bad game he had against the Giants 2 years ago, but he can still ball when he has to. And that's what you need to be worried about, that they're going to that the Commanders could catch lightning in a bottle. They could figure out their defensive issues. They can get themselves a middle linebacker, and they can move forward into the East. It's interesting that outside of the Giants right now, you have Dallas, which will probably still be. I still think they'll be good. You have Philadelphia, that if Hurts improves or they draft or find another quarterback, probably is going to continue its success. And then you're going to have the Commanders. I hate that name. You're going to have the Commanders, who potentially found a quarterback. And I think that's going to be a little bit devastating to the Giants, because you always want to pencil in those Commander wins for the Giants. I don't think we could do that this year if Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz from a couple of years back. Now, I think the Giants need to start getting on the ball a little bit here, and I think their biggest problem is the salary clock is ticking, and the season clock is ticking until we hit 16th. 4 p.m. on the 16th. And we got to figure out what's going on with the legal tampering on the 14th as well. So the clock is ticking there, Shane. And I've been giving Shane all the benefit of the doubt. I have been giving him a lot of praise and a lot of credit because I think he's been doing things right. The same with Dable. But we need to, and I'm not going to question him now, but there is a lack of inactivity right now coming out of the Giant camp. And I don't know if there seems to be a lack of urgency. I don't know. Maybe they're looking at restructuring a lot of deals. Maybe they're trying to figure out some trades. That's the only thing that we can think of. I wanted to back up real quick and talk about Mitchell Trubisky, about him coming to the Giants. And I think people completely overlook sometimes the statement that Joe Schoen said that Daniel Jones is our quarterback for now. Some people took that as meaning they're going to trade him or get rid of him sometime in the season. Some people are taking that as meaning that he is the quarterback of the moment for this entire year, and then they're going to see what happens next year because they're not picking up that $20 million option. That'd be crazy. But I think a lot of people, and I'm excited. I would be excited about Trubisky as well. But the problem is there is reports, and I have to agree with them, that Trubisky may get anywhere between $8 to $10 million on the open market, because there is a lot of teams that are looking for a quarterback to start the season. There's still a lot of teams on the market that want or need a quarterback, not to back up Daniel Jones, but to actually play. And I think he's going to have his choice of spots. And I just find it interesting that, like I said, that the Giants, if they had an opportunity to get him, if I thought that the Giants were going to get Trubisky, this is what I would think. I would think you would then trade Daniel Jones You draft a quarterback. It doesn't have to be Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. Bring him the boom.
But we know it should be Malik Willis. But you turn around, you draft a quarterback, and then you have him work directly with Davis Webb, who is more of, like I said, we've said this before, he's not a talent, he's more of a coach. And he knows the system. And they say he's a film room guy. They say he's a gym guy. He just doesn't have the talent to be an NFL quarterback. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We're bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. That just came in way too early. But he's a guy that is a coach on the field, and he knows the system, and he's probably going to be a quarterback coach, maybe an offensive coordinator one day. So that's what my philosophy would have been. And I think that, but like I said, it's going to be curious to see. We got to see what goes on here. We got to get a better idea what Deshane's got in mind. The moves are going to be coming because, like I said, that free agent clock, the clock is ticking. The clock is going to be striking midnight soon for the Giants in reference to the salary cap. And to all the people that think the salary cap doesn't mean anything, then salary cap is fluid. Yeah, it seems like Deshane is a little worried about the salary cap himself. So I enjoy the people that have no worries about the salary cap, but your general manager does. I think that's the best thing I've ever seen. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you subscribe, ring that bell notification.